For most people, childhood vacations with their families are a thing where core memories are made. One of my earliest childhood memories was going on vacation on a road trip to Virginia with my parents. My dad got a flat tire on the way and coming back from Virginia, and he was miserable the whole time. He was so mad at me. He didn't want to hear me or my family speak. And we were out to dinner one night, and he forced me to eat this meal that he bought me. And it turned out the meal wasn't very. There was something wrong with the meal, and I was trying to tell him there was something wrong with the meal, but he kept on making me eat the food, and I had food poisoning, and I was shitting and throwing up at the same time for hours. Core memory activated. I don't know. I'm taking my daughter on vacation, and I'm just worried about all these things. I just don't want her to bring it up in therapy one day. I definitely don't want her to bring it up on a podcast one day. That's my biggest fear. Today on the show is Dom Delledera. He is the post-producer on the show. He is a filmmaker, and much like what was spewing out of me in that motel room that day, this is a bit too much.
My many times on the West Coast, I feel like burritos were more of a thing than tacos. I feel like everywhere was like, you got to have the burrito.
Well, you get like the breakfast burrito.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
See, I'm such a big fan of eggs.
Yeah, I'm a big egg head.
Yes, you are retarded. And but like breakfast tacos in Austin, or breakfast burritos on the West Coast, dude. Fuck it. If I could have that every fucking day.
You could.
You've had my eggs. I have actually made you some.
Yeah, they're
after
good.
we fucked. I've made you some very good scrambled eggs.
I will admit that is the best thing you do. You're not. I mean, that's high praise.
That is. I'm not even that insulted. Like,
you shouldn't be.
Well, I mean, like a little insulted in the sense that there's other things I do, like this.
Yeah, but you don't do anything as good as as good as you make those eggs.
The key is, Gordon Ramsay taught me this. Not personally.
By
watching his videos.
Oh.
The key is you get to keep stirring the whole time.
Okay.
These are the things also that I've consumed myself with since I've become a father. It's like just cooking videos. I love to cook anyway, but especially because I do so much more cooking now. Listen, my daughter's not having some fucking hard yellow rock eggs. She's not eating some fucking shit.
Gross.
My daughter is eating some soft scrambled egg.
She's eating that every day?
Not every day, but when I make her eggs, I make them fucking right, man. No, I don't do the creme fraiche in hers because I feel like it's a little rich, but that is, I have other replacements. Put a little cream or milk in it.
Okay.
But what I really did, the one you had,
that was good.
Was, you stir constantly, you take it off the heat, on the heat, off the heat, on the heat, and you like temper the eggs and you bring them up slowly.
Okay.
When it gets to the right consistency, it's like a little curdled, then you add the salt and pepper. If you add the salt too early, it gets watery.
Oh.
Then throw in a little dollop of creme fraiche.
Okay.
Off the heat, mix it in, let it get that little richness. Chop chives.
You were very emphatic about using the chive. You were in search of the chives.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, in Portland, we did go searching for chives.
Yeah, it was worth it.
It was worth it because it's like, here's the thing: it was like we had a film crew, and I didn't want that to be the impression of my eggs. I was talking the eggs up a lot. You did talk a big game, and somehow you delivered. No, not somehow. I'm fucking great at it.
Yeah, and that's why that's the best thing you'll ever do in your whole life.
I mean, I'm good at other things now.
Yeah, of course.
I'm good at being a dad.
I don't know. You're not my dad.
I would say I'm better than your dad.
No way. He'll come over here and he'll beat your ass.
I just took my family on a road trip.
Yeah.
A little family vacation.
Where?
So it was not very far from us because I live in Westchester, and this was like about an hour north, so it's not really much of a road trip. But but it was like a resort that is, and this is because my father-in-law took my wife there when she was a kid and wanted to do this with his granddaughters, so came with us with our kid. It's like this Western, like old, like Wild West themed resort. Super corny, right?
Yeah.
Like super corny. But when you're, that's one thing I didn't see coming when I became a dad, because I'm I'm just an Italian kid from Queens, and I'm a comic, and I don't like corny is not ever a thing I did. I don't appreciate corny. I make fun of corny.
Yeah.
My whole family makes fun of corny. You can't do corny things around people like me without getting made fun of. And then I became a dad, and I realized that when there's a kid involved, corny's great.
Yeah.
Dude, we all bought cowboy hats.
That's fun.
You know, that was fun. But I would have never fucking, like, not even as a goof would I have ever done that before. Like, my wife and I just go on vacation, and I'm not, like, if I go to Mexico with her, I'm not buying a sombrero to be like the goofy gringo. Like, it's not.
They got nice sombreros, though.
It's not my thing, though. I don't do that. I don't put myself out there in a way that's corny. With a kid, no fucking shame.
Yeah.
Because I'm making this trip incredible for her, right?
Right.
So we're all wearing, the fucking whole family's wearing cowboy hats.
That's cool.
You know, we're fucking yeehawing all over the fucking place.
What's this place called?
Rocking Horse Ranch.
Rocking
It's a
Horse
nice
Ranch.
resort in, I want to say it's Highland, New York.
Okay.
Highland, New York. It's a cute place. It's like one of those resorts where it's like all inclusive on the resort, and then they've got a bunch of kid things like pony rides, horse rides, it's a water park.
Okay.
There's skiing in the winter, which, you know, we didn't go in the winter, but there's like all these activities, a little petting zoo, had a zebra. I feel like that was illegal.
That definitely can't do. Maybe there was a horse that they,
Just
died.
We did discuss that. We're like, this could be a fucked up
Could be.
donkey or a big pony or some shit. No, but it was a fucking zebra, and they had a lot of that. They had, I mean, what felt like too many horses. They had like 100 horses. They had like full stables. So it's like a working ranch, you know, and then they give the illusion of they have all these little like false front Western things. And then they got little Western activities. You could do like a rifle range. Obviously, my daughter didn't do this, but like a rifle range with BB guns and like archery and shit like that.
Peppermint sticks and all those kind of things.
Yeah. You get the like whole
old-fashioned candies.
Right. Okay. And so you get, you know, families like ours who are just like, oh, it's a cute thing for my kid. Mm-hmm. And then you get the families that are like the all-inclusive families.
Okay.
You know what I mean by that? Like people, like it's like people who always go on a cruise.
Oh.
You know, people who look like they enjoy a buffet. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I get.
People who all they do is all-inclusive resorts because the idea that they, every time it's feasting time, they just gorge themselves. I mean,
But
people who go for thirds and fourths, fifths and sixths. People who, when they even sit down for the form, forget the buffets, because that's like a feeding frenzy, right? And everyone's tempted to go back up for seconds and thirds,
of course.
But I'm talking about people who, even when the formal sit downs, are like, can I have this entree as an appetizer? You know, I'm going to order all the appetizers. Yeah. Then I want this entree as an appetizer. And then I want an entree as an entree. It's too much food. But these are, you know. So
You're on vacation.
So you got regular working class families. You've got the buffet people.
Yeah.
Like mole people. And then, I mean, this one really took me for a loop. I saw what I believed was a sugar daddy situation.
Ooh.
It's like an old man and a younger woman, you know, I want to say she was of age.
I would hope.
Like 18, 19, I think. It's like a very white guy.
Yeah.
And this girl who I think was of mixed race. And she seemed way too cool for him, was one thing.
Right.
It wasn't his granddaughter. There's no, like, because that was I was trying to go like, all right, maybe that's his granddaughter. But then I kept on seeing them. There's no family with them. You don't, maybe, you know, a granddad and our 19-year-old are not going to that. Like, that's where you take your little granddaughter. You don't take your teenage or adult granddaughter to this family resort. I think they were like, this is local enough.
Maybe the whole family died and they were the only two left. And they always went there.
And they fuck?
No. They went there as you know, they took her there as a kid and they're spreading the ashes of her family at the rodeo ranch.
Yeah. Maybe it was that.
It could have been.
Or
yeah.
This was a sugar daddy, sugar baby situation.
Yeah.
They were in the pool together. Now, I didn't see any outwardly weird shit. Like, it wasn't like they were making out. So it's hard to tell. But it just couldn't have been anything else. It had to have been that. And it was a weird place to do that.
Yeah.
Family resort. That's Western themed. It's a weird place to like take your sugar baby.
Could have been a hostage.
Could have been kidnapped.
Yeah. You ever hear about those, like, oh, I've kidnapped this child and her whole life, I've raised her as my own.
So now she's grown up.
Yeah.
He kidnapped her years ago.
Yeah. She doesn't know any better.
Right.
Yeah.
And like he's groomed her.
Yep.
She doesn't. She thinks that's dad.
Yeah.
It's weird that he shows her his penis all the time, but like she thinks that's dad.
It's normal.
And yeah. She remembered that there used to be another family. Like they were cousins. She was told they were like cousins.
There's so many scenarios it could have been.
Right. But the one that's most likely is what I'm saying. And dude, it just brought out back all these memories of family vacations for me. Like these were always the kind of trips that I went on.
Yeah.
And by that I mean being groomed and kidnapped.
Right.
But these were the kind of trips I went on as a kid. Like my parents didn't put me on a plane. No? We never took a flight.
Really?
Anywhere.
Wow.
I did not go on my first flight until I started going away on spring break when I was older.
Okay.
When I was like 17, I started going on like wild vacations.
You went to MTV spring break?
Not the MTV variety.
Okay.
But I went to like Cancun and I went to Bahamas and shit like that. That's the first time I ever went on a plane.
Oh.
My parents didn't. They were. What I now realize later on is that they were really broke and they never seemed it.
Yeah.
But so I didn't know. Like I actually grew up thinking we had money and we had no money.
Okay.
But so I realize that now why we always did road trips. But we didn't. But so all of our vacations were road trips. Did you do road trips with your family?
Yeah, we've said this before. Parents are immigrants, so we definitely made a lot of flights back to the motherland when I was a young lad.
So you went to Italy.
But we did a lot of road trips because my aunt and uncle would come from Italy, and then we were like, all right, let's go on a good old fashioned, American road trip vacation type of thing. We would always go to like Lancaster, Pennsylvania, the Amish country.
I did that with my daughter like last year.
Did you go to Dutch Wonderland?
We did not go to Dutch Wonderland.
You should try it.
We
used to love going there.
Dude, it is so weird going to Lancaster. So for people who are not familiar, it's an Amish like county.
Yeah.
Heavily Amish county. It's not all Amish, right? It's Amish, Mennonite, everything you would see on the show Breaking Amish.
Is that a show?
Yeah. Great show. Fucking hilarious. And so it's like this big Amish community, and you can just go on vacation there and treat it like they are the animals in a museum.
Yeah, there's zoo.
Right? Like there's something so twisted about it. And now granted, the tourism is a stream of revenue for the Amish people. So it's not like they're necessarily being placed there and exploited. They are making money.
They're exploiting themselves.
They're exploiting themselves,
right?
Which is really so twisted when you think about Amish ideals. When you think about living so simplistic, and then you're like, we don't believe in electronics. We don't believe in anything modern. We have this humble religious life.
Yeah. But
all those heathens, we're going to allow them to come here and just gawk at us.
Yeah.
And go, no, hey baby, that's a real Amish person. Like, I mean, it's so fucking weird.
It is.
And insulting and just odd, like horse and buggies coming down the street.
Yep.
And you feel like they're putting it on.
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely, work the gimmick a little bit. You know, they know what they're doing.
Right.
I would do the same.
You see them break it sometimes though. Like if you they don't know you're looking at them.
They pull out their phones.
Like no, not that, but like I saw like an Amish couple, like because I feel like they always look like such a solid, they're like religious and they look like such a solid unit. They're like our way of life is like a pure way of living.
Right.
I saw an Amish couple with their kids fighting, in Dutch, so I didn't understand what they were talking about. Just fighting. And it was kind of hilarious because it was like, oh, they're just like us in that way. In no other way. But like, oh, just a couple fighting.
Is that their mother tongue? Dutch? Dutch?
I don't know. Maybe it was not Dutch.
Okay.
Like Pennsylvania Dutch is a thing.
Well, yeah, that's why. I mean, we used to go to that amusement park, Dutch Wonderland, and I didn't know it had any correlation to the Amish because I figured roller coasters and Amish people aren't really, they don't click.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But there's a few Amish communities, like in the U.S. Lancaster's one of them. I took my daughter. So you used to go there with your family?
Yeah, pretty frequently, yeah.
And what is Dutch Wonderland? Is that like
it's like an amusement park. It's like we never went to like Disney World or anything like that. Right. We would always go to like that place, Dutch Wonderland, Hershey Park, or somewhere close enough to drive. We go to
Hershey Park,
Busch Gardens, I think is
what
one.
A shithole Hershey Park is.
Yeah, but you go through the chocolate like thing, and it smells like chocolate. They show you how they make the chocolate.
Right.
Yeah.
But what a shithole.
Yeah, it's kind of dumpy.
It's horrible. All those parks, like we went to Sesame Place with my daughter.
Used to go there too,
which is also a shitty little park. But but my daughter had a great time. Right. I mean, we took her there. She had a great time. But like all those little parks, like if you're not going to Six Flags or greater, you're in the shitty. There's a lot of amusement parks that are not great amusement parks across the country.
Of course. I mean, Six Flags is kind of a garbo hole as well.
I haven't been there in a long time, is it?
It is.
But it's huge, right?
It's huge. It's got great rides. It's just like not the best taken care of.
Did you mention when you said Busch Gardens?
Yeah, Busch Gardens. So used to go there all the time.
One of our family vacations was to Virginia Beach.
Okay.
And I guess around or in Virginia Beach is a Busch Gardens?
Around there, I think.
Maybe it's around it.
It's around there.
So we took an RV down to Virginia Beach, and we had a flat tire along the way. And I'll never forget this because this fucking guy with 2 different color eyes.
Ooh, creepy.
Who looked like Randy Johnson, the pitcher.
Yeah.
The old pitcher.
He's not that old.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure he is now. He's retired. He's been retired for years. He was a pitcher in the 90s for the Mariners. Sure. And he looked like Randy Johnson because he had 2 different color eyes. Okay. And he helped us change our tire.
Wow. Randy Johnson.
Yeah. And then we saw him later on in Busch Gardens. Like, hey, it's the fucking crazy guy with 2 eyes. With 2 different color eyes. He had 2 eyes, yeah. And
most people do.
But every road trip was laced with all these horrible mishaps. Like, it was never just I don't ever remember getting in a car or an RV or whatever with my family and just having like a clean, good time road trip. Yeah. I mean, I think as kids, we didn't even realize how fucked up these trips were. Right. Like, we always had these constant breakdowns. We had my parents fighting like crazy. Like, they were always laced with these weird moments. Okay. Like, they were never just purely fun, But we went to Busch Gardens. Yeah. And I, for years, remember just the Busch Gardens part until I got older, and then remembered all the fucked up things that happened.
That's how it is.
Yeah, repressed memories is what it's called.
Yeah.
We just always did road trips. We used to also go visit these people. I don't know. They were like family friends kind of, or family friends of family friends in Pennsylvania. We used to just like stay at their house in the middle of the woods. I'm pretty sure I was almost molested.
Probably. You probably were molested.
By like the daughter of the family. Oh. Well, much older. Yeah. I don't remember fully.
Okay. Well, it'll come back to you one day.
I'm just going to wake up screaming one day.
Yeah. Something will happen to you where it'll just like, I'm surprised it didn't happen to you when the girl gave you the rectal exam, but hey.
Yeah, no, that was, I was so horrified in that moment. Yeah. That moment just stayed like that was
created a new repression.
Yeah, that was a new awkward thing. Yeah. It wasn't triggering to another bad thing.
You repressed the memory with another memory to repress.
Yeah. Family when you're a kid, your family vacations, I think, are just purely like you don't remember any of the fucked up things about them, right? Like if there were fucked up things about them, you don't really remember because as a kid you don't really absorb your parents having a hard time, your parents being tired. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like now as an adult, we took our daughter to this resort, and as an adult, all I'm doing is I'm just eyeing the other parents the whole time. Right. I'm like, that's a parent I can relate. That's a tired parent. Right. It's tired. The parent looks like they can't fucking get their kid to eat anything. Yeah. That's a tired parent. That kid got sick. I understand that. And then there's the parents who are like smacking their fucking kids at the buffet. Like there's always that family too. Yeah. There's like this family that just keeps on making a scene at the resort. There was one woman who just kept, I mean, every time I saw them, she was pulling her kid, like yanking him by the arm. Yeah. You're like, all right, that's another type of vacation family, I feel like.
The abusive family?
Yeah, or the fucked up make a scene family.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's always one of those on a resort.
Sure, and just or in general in the park or wherever.
And then you got the like single mom. They're just trying to drink the whole time. Family. It's like a mom with like 7 kids.
Yeah,
and she's just like the whole time. She's like, just go entertain yourselves. The kids are running amok.
Yeah.
And she's like, where do I get the alcohol in this fucking place? What are other family vacations you guys went on?
I mean, it is interesting. We would go on family road trips like every summer, but every other summer, and like the following summer we'd go to Italy, and I would get pulled out of school, and then like we would stay there for months at a time, and I would it wasn't particularly exciting for me
to go to Italy.
Right, because I would go all the time, and we didn't do it wasn't like a vacation. We just kind of like hung out at my grandparents' house,
right?
And, like with my cousins,
which as an adult is like that sounds great.
Right,
I definitely as an adult, you're like, just go to Italy and eat good food and just hang out and bullshit with like family.
Yeah,
that sounds like a great fucking vacation. But as a kid, you're like, there's no roller coasters here,
right? But
there's no air conditioning either.
No, there wasn't. Right. There still isn't. But interestingly enough, I did go on a family vacation, like, I want to say like in 2016. So like almost like 8 years ago.
So as an adult with
my
parents.
And my cousin from Italy and my uncle from Italy, and they had come over and we went to Disney, and I'd never been to Disney with my parents.
Right.
As a, an adult man.
Yeah.
It was very interesting just to be like, I'm not a child.
But you're with your family on a vacation.
Right. Yeah. Have you ever been on a vacation with your mother recently?
No, I won't.
You won't?
That sounds like a nightmare.
I enjoyed it.
I like the idea of me now as an adult.
Right.
Going on a massive family vacation sounds, well, I'll tell you why it sounds miserable. Not because I don't want to spend time with those people. But it's because I have a kid.
Yeah.
And every vacation, listen, the way my wife and I vacation now is so fucking different than the way my parents went on vacation with us as kids.
Okay.
My parents picked a spot they wanted to go and they brought us.
Oh.
We pick out vacations that we think our kids going to enjoy.
Okay.
There's such a different way. I'm not saying one's right or wrong because there's something to like, it's nice when you can just take your kids along to what you want to do.
Right.
I'm not shitting on that.
Kids like anything.
Until they fucking have a tantrum because they're bored.
Yeah.
Maybe at a certain age, like maybe at like 10 years old, you could do that.
Yeah.
My kid's still so young that like, you got to like have fucking activities. At the least, you got to have like a bunch of shit you bring. Like a bunch of toys and iPads and fucking coloring books. Like you just gotta, and they have to be entertained. They can't just fall into boredom. They're not gonna sit there and be like, all right, I guess I'll have a coffee. Like
you don't give your daughter coffee?
No, we don't.
Oh.
Which again is very different than the way I grew up. My dad was giving me espresso at like 5.
Yeah.
As well as tasting his beer and wine at a very young age. But our parents didn't go like, what's gonna be a great. Now, my mom did do this stuff normal, like take me to a park. I'm not saying they didn't do anything.
Right.
But like vacations were not about like what we wanted to do. It was like, we're going here.
It's their money.
And we didn't go to Italy. My parents from Italy, but we didn't go there because my mom's idea of Italy is still what her childhood was, which was that she was one of like, what was 7 or 8? I forget how many siblings she has.
Yeah. As is tradition.
Yeah. Because there was nothing to do on a farm.
Yeah.
In Sicily. And all she remembered about her childhood is that she was constantly cleaning and cooking for her siblings. So to her, cool. Italy is like, it's like going back to Auschwitz. It's like you're not like you can vacation there now,
right? Yeah,
but you wouldn't. That was
how old was she when she left?
She was young. My mom was like
your dad too.
My dad was a little older, but also young. My dad was like 12. My mom was like 8.
My mother was a lot older. She was like in her 20s, so that's why I think.
Yeah. My mom's memory of Sicily is like cooking, cleaning. Story she always tells where a bull almost ran her over.
Cool.
Which I kind of think might be
weird.
made up.
I don't.
It might be made up. She
Sounds
changed.
made
She
up.
changed the animal a few times. And then there was a story about someone tried to steal her sister's bag and she threw lemons at them, which is the fun. That is the most Italian thing that has ever happened. You just get a lemon.
Yeah.
You get a lemon throwing fight in the garden.
Did they have a lemon farm?
They lived on a farm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what their crops were, but they did live on an operational farm.
Yeah.
And so that's my mom's memory. So when she was like, in her 30s and had us and we were kids, she was never like, oh, let's take them back to she had no solid core memories of Italy because to her it was just hard. They were poor. They had nothing. And she just her family worked her like a servant.
Because she was.
I mean, essentially, the women in
she's the child.
That time and place.
Yeah.
All the women in the family were doing it was like, did you shine your brother's shoes yet? Did you start dinner? So to her, it's like Italy wasn't a place she wanted to go back to.
Right.
Which I wish she did because, I didn't get to go.
Yeah.
But, but then like our family vacations were like these real DIY. Just get in the car. We'd always stay in a motel.
Okay.
I feel it was the age of the motels too. Like I feel like people don't really stay in them anymore unless they're like trendy. Like sometimes motels are trendy now.
Sometimes, yeah.
But we just stayed in these little, just real gross. Like I remember one place having the fucking quarters that you could put in the bed to make the bed vibrate.
That's cool.
And I had no idea. Like to me that was just like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it is.
Can I get one of these in my house?
Can you get one of those in your house? I'm sure you could.
I mean, I'm sure you could.
Without the quarter, you don't need. I'm not going to pay myself.
And then we also did the Catskills. Did you ever go to the Catskills when you were like?
Not when I was a kid.
Did you go when you were older?
Yes, as an adult.
So you went after it wasn't good anymore.
Did it
Catskills,
in quality?
It's been greatly abandoned in terms of all those resorts. There were a bunch of resorts.
No, never been to a resort or anything like that.
Oh, so did you just go for like
hiking?
Okay, that's a different story.
Yeah,
there used to be all these resorts in the Catskills.
Really?
And in the 70s, there was this huge boom to all these resorts. There were a lot of Jewish resorts that did really well. And then there were just all these other sort of like all-inclusive, breakfast, lunch, and dinner at certain times, similar to the vacation I just took my daughter to.
Okay.
But in the Catskills, which is this, actually where I went wasn't too far from the Catskills. And I remember we used to go to this resort called Friar Tuck. And it was like a Robin Hood themed resort. I mean...
Yeah.
Just why would that even be a place?
I was gonna say that sounds cool. I kind of got a picture in my head. I feel like I might have heard of it too.
But I feel like the only thing that was Friar Tuckish about it was that there was an archery range.
Oh.
Like I felt like it was not actually that well themed.
Okay.
But it was one of those places we would go with other families, like other friends, and you'd go and the parents would just drink all day.
Yeah. And
the kids would just, I'm talking like we're probably like 8, 9. Me and my friend Mike would just fucking run around and destroy the place. I mean, we're completely unsupervised. I mean, I remember they had an indoor bocce court.
Yeah, bocce.
And
indoors?
Yeah, it was an indoor one.
I don't know.
There was an outdoor one too.
Okay.
But there's an indoor one. And he fucking launched one of the bocce balls through a window.
Hell yeah.
And it landed. Bocce balls, for those who are not familiar, heavy.
Heavy, big balls.
Yeah. What are they made of? They feel like lead. I mean, they're heavy.
They're heavy.
Fucking balls.
Yeah.
Like, my point is, 3 stories up, a ball coming, that could kill someone.
It fell out of the window.
He threw it through a window.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like a ground level window.
No. So he threw it out. We're on a high floor. Thing crashes through the window. He breaks the window. So you got shattering glass falling down poolside. And the fucking bocce ball landed right between 2 people on lawn chairs.
Oh, shit.
Like, could have absolutely killed
100%.
And our parents never fucking knew it happened. It was just, we were just running around.
Yeah.
We were just like, kicking geese.
As you should. They deserve it.
I agree. Geese are kind of assholes.
Yeah.
Of all the birds.
The worst bird.
Well, maybe seagulls.
No, I would... Like, you're going into the seagull's den of the beach. That's
bullshit. No. When you're at a beach a fucking seagull just fucking flies over and shits on your family? Or,
you know they're going to be an issue there. Geese can show up anywhere, anytime.
No, they don't.
Yeah. There's a...
Wait. Geese, you're like by a lake.
No, man. There's a pack of like geese that like where my parents live. They're pretty far, not like they're a couple miles from the lake.
You're talking about them like they're a gang.
But they would just like post up at this house and like on the dude's roof for like weeks at a time. These
Like
fucking
waiting
geese.
for him?
They didn't. I don't know if they were waiting for him, but they just liked that spot and they just posted up there.
You're talking about them like they're Latin kings. Like ASA. They're just waiting for people.
I'd rather run into them.
One of them wearing a button down that only has one button on top.
Man,
like a bandana on.
I stand by that statement.
No, geese are assholes.
I'll take a seagull over a geese any day. A goose.
Yeah, but seagulls. Yeah, yeah. All right. Here's the thing: a goose will attack you.
Yeah.
Like a goose will, for no reason, go, huh?
Yeah.
You know where they fucking lift their wings up into threat. They just look at you and they perch their neck toward you, and you're like, oh, he's about to come out. And maybe it's because there's eggs nearby or something like that.
There's never eggs.
No, it's just
no, it's just jerks.
But seagulls won't do that. But they will just fly over you. I've had my car in Long Island, in Long Beach, just completely. I parked my car under a fucking tree.
That's their turf.
And let me tell you something. You know what seagull shit smells like?
I don't know what it smells
Fish. Seagull shit, because it's what they eat.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Just completely from front to back covered my car in shit.
Well,
seagulls are fucking menaces. Seagulls are disgusting.
Yeah, but they just have a handful of fries and throw it off to the side and they'll go over there, you know?
I mean, goose probably do that too.
No.
Let's just look at the fry and just fuck up your
no
shit.
way. A lot of goose where I live, used to live. So I don't know.
I feel like you haven't mastered how to use goose and geese.
No, I never will.
Every time you talk in singular, you say geese.
No.
A lot of goose where I live.
A lot of goose.
Geese.
No, a lot of goose.
Have you learned this yet?
I don't intend to. I think I'm past the point where I need to learn anything.
Yeah, well, you're an egghead. We talked about this already. So you go on like family vacations as a kid, and I think like in your mind that's a vacation. It's like you go with your parents, you go to some whatever resort thing, and then it's like as you get old, once you start discovering your own idea of vacations, you're like, oh, vacations can be so much better than this. Family vacations are fun when you're a kid. But then you discover what vacations like. Oh, I could just go to a place.
Yeah, you just go to a place.
Yeah, you don't have to be in a resort.
No,
and you start going like, oh, and that's what happened to me. Is then I started going away at like 17, 18, and I went on spring break a few years in a row. I mean, they were just complete debauchery.
Yeah,
and it was a sad moment I think for my family because I was no longer going on vacation with them.
Okay,
but I was going away and just almost dying every night. I mean, Cancun.
Yeah.
Do not send your 18-year-old to Cancun. Don't do it. Don't do it. They're like, oh, we're going to have a good time. We're going to stay with our group. They're going to tell you all the things you do. The first thing we did when we got to Cancun was because we were waiting for our rooms to be open. We got there early in the morning. We put our stuff down. We went to a fucking tiki bar. We started drinking. We got really drunk.
Yeah.
And then we went bungee jumping by our ankles.
That's cool.
We went bungee jumping.
Hell yeah.
And it cut up our ankles because there were not regulations. Surprise. And I got to the top and all of a sudden sobered up and I was like, oh shit, I'm jumping off it was off a bridge.
Okay.
And I was like, I probably shouldn't do this. And the guy said something to me in Spanish and then pushed me off the bridge.
Yeah.
And because he pushed me off the bridge, I didn't dive. I fell feet first.
Oh.
But the harness is on my feet.
Yeah.
So when I hit the bottom, when I hit that moment of resistance, my whole body fucking whipped. And like whiplash, full body whiplash, which I didn't know was a thing. I was like, ah! Just fucking, my whole body yanked and my ankles were bleeding by the end of it. And then we got back, we finally check into our rooms at the end and we're all like a little fucked up from the bungee jumping and the drinking. And we get back into the brochures. The first thing it says is like, things not to do in Mexico. This bungee jumping was like first on the list.
Really?
They don't have the regulations.
Okay.
Those, I imagine if you're heavy enough, you just hit the water.
Probably.
You know?
Can't say that I've been.
Mexico or bungee jumping?
Bungee jumping.
I'm surprised, actually. Have you ever been skydiving?
No, I haven't. Too expensive.
It's too expensive, yeah. I feel like you're a person who would want to like put your body at risk.
I mean, I've been on like the like big thingy, like it's almost like bungee jumping, but you do like a swing where you just like they pull you up like a couple 100 feet and then they just release it and you just
and you just kind of like swing across. Yeah.
I've done that. That's fun.
You do that when you start going out by yourself, like when you start going on vacations. But those are the kind of things you do because you're like, holy shit, I have freedom now.
Yeah, but there's still people out there. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I know so many people who are just like, yeah, we're going to a resort. We're going to.
I mean, resorts are okay. I'm not.
We're going to Sandals Resort for a honeymoon.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't find that desirable, but I will say, like, go to an all-inclusive Caribbean. This is not. I mean, it could be a nice time.
Sure,
it could be. You
but
drink
as your
all
only
you want.
vacation ever, forever.
You also don't drink.
I don't, but
that's a big thing. Like being able to just get a constant stream of drinks.
Yeah,
it's very appealing to people.
I guess there's an appeal
you
that I don't know.
What you want, you drink what you want. I mean, you don't eat all you want because you're limited to what the hotel has, but you can eat a lot.
Yeah,
and you drink a lot, and that's very appealing to people. You know, it's the reason why people go on cruises all the time. Although on cruises, you got to fucking pay for the drinks. It's that a little different. When you go to like Mexico or Dominican Republic, you just get drinks.
That's where everyone I know. They're always going there.
And the move, I learned this from all the fucking little crooked guineas in my family.
Ooh.
You show up.
You did the nose thing.
Yeah. Well, you show up and you just tip big right up front. I'm going to be posted up here. This is what my uncles do. They go, I'm going to be right here.
Yeah.
The whole week. I'm going to get this lawn chair every time. I'm going to get down here early enough that's always my lawn chair. Here's $200 for you and your few friends. Your posse. I expect to never have an empty glass. And they will just bring this guy fucking pina coladas the whole week.
That's such a weird idea of a vacation, but hey.
But you're sitting by a pool, which you could do here.
You could do that if you have a pool.
I know. It is a little bit weird. But at the same time, I don't find the all-inclusive thing weird unless it's like, not an appealing play. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to go to an all-inclusive in like Utah. You know what I mean? There's things like that in just random places.
Yeah.
Without a kid, especially. I don't want to go to like some random all-inclusive unless it's for my kid or if it's relaxing. Other than that, I don't really want to go to an all-inclusive. I want to go to like Spain and I want to walk around Spain.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what I want to do. But when you have a family, I kind of understand. You keep everyone centralized.
Right. You don't have to worry about losing somebody.
Yeah, there's an appeal to that, and you could just like eat and drink, and there's activities.
Yeah.
Here's a fucking weird one though: Disney adults.
I know a few. It's insane.
Took my daughter to Disney World this past January. It was like a birthday gift to her. It was her third birthday, but it was like right before she turned 3, so she was free. That was the one thrifty thing we did. We were like, if we take her a few months before.
How do they verify?
They hold them up.
Oh.
No, they don't. They don't.
Okay.
But you just enter your kid's birthday and
okay.
But whatever. She was free. It's fucking expensive to take your family to Disney.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's so expensive. So like you're just like 2 fucking 20-something-year-olds and you just go and you're spending that kind of money to just go to Disney?
Yep.
As adults. I mean, and when I tell you, not that they're just there. Like I could understand for people in certain parts of the country that Epcot Center could be very appealing because maybe you live in Minnesota
and you'll never go
and you only eat cream of mushroom dishes and everyone looks like cardboard and you just that's the most spice in your life because you're like, let's go to France. I'm not going to really go to France, but I'll go to the French section of Epcot Center.
Yeah.
And you try lame varieties of what would be other cultures' foods.
Okay.
I could understand the appeal a little bit.
I guess.
If you happen to be there because you're on a family thing, sure. Go enjoy Epcot Center. Yeah. It's kitschy and fun, right?
Yeah.
But if I was there with my daughter and it's pretty magical taking a kid to Disney. You see it through their eyes. It's pretty incredible. Like my daughter was so lit up by these experiences, meeting princesses. It's so fucking adorable to watch them experience this for the first time. I could not even having the time we had there, which was great. I could not ever, still, even now, having been there, imagine going there as an adult without family around.
Yeah.
It's not like you're the you're going with your brother who has kids and you happen to, I mean, like 2 fucking adults, a couple. They just go to Disney and they go on the kid rides. This line is, I'm waiting online for an hour to get on a Winnie the Pooh ride, and half of them are fucking Disney adults. Half of the people waiting there are just like, oh, I went on this last year. It was fun. I've been going on this every year for 15 years.
That's insane to me.
Oh, I love Winnie the Pooh. And then you get in it, and it's like a fucking little boat. It's not a good ride. It's not a good ride. It's for kids.
Yeah.
It's a little calm boat that takes you through, and you hear the little storybook of Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
How is that appealing?
I don't get it.
Here's the kind of vacations I went on. I had a friend who ran out of money because he bought so much cocaine that he eventually gave up his last pair of shoes to get more cocaine. That's the kind of vacations I was going on when I was younger, like a young adult.
Right.
And these people are going to, they're going on the fucking Little Mermaid ride.
I think it's because their lives are sad. And they want to go back to a time where it wasn't. I don't know. That's my guess. I have been to Disney as
Is it wrong that I look at every Disney adult and I'm like, oh, they're like mentally ill? I don't even like, I think it'd be totally normal people otherwise who have regular jobs. I just look at them with the fucking Mickey Mouse ears on, the little stick on Mickey Mouse ears, and like, an ill-fitting fucking t-shirt because they bought it 10 years ago and they wear it every year, but now they got too fat for it. And listen, I know what it's like to get too fat for your clothes, but just stop wearing them. Stop wearing them. Don't wear
clothes. Cost money.
Sure they do. So does Disney though. Yeah. Disney's super. If you can afford Disney, you can afford a new fucking shirt from H&M. You know,
they want a Disney shirt,
and they're sitting there with their fucking ears on, and I'm like, oh, I think there's something wrong with these people. I automatically assume that. I will say I had at this ranch to close it up here. I was at this ranch, and my whole family wore cowboy hats, but I'm wearing it for my daughter.
Right.
Every time I saw an adult in one of the gift shop cowboy hats by themselves, I kind of assumed there was something wrong with them. I could be wrong.
It's part of the fun.
Yeah.
I'll wear a cowboy hat for the, cowboy ranch.
You do a lot of things ironically.
Yes, I will do it.
You're not like what I said. It was like I didn't do corny until I was a dad. You will do corny because you think it's funny. You also like bad movies.
Yes. I will
You say bad movies are great because you like how bad they are.
Yeah, absolutely. I just love doing it as a goof. Just wearing a cowboy hat.
What appeal is that?
I don't know. It makes me laugh.
Would you go to Disney as an adult?
I have been to Disney as an adult.
Like by yourself? Not with kids.
Me and my wife Rachel had gone. We were in Japan and we went to Tokyo Disney. She wanted to check it out.
I feel like that's a little different. Your vacation was not.
It was not. We went there
Disney.
for a day.
You went to Tokyo, which is an incredible place.
Yeah.
You went to Tokyo, and then you're like, oh, let's see like how different the Tokyo. It's like going to McDonald's in Asia. What kind of items do they have here?
That was it.
Getting noodles?
She was treated like a celebrity.
Why?
Because she was wearing a polka dot dress that I don't know if you're familiar with the characters
like
of Mickey Mouse. No, she was wearing one like Daisy in Daisy's Duck, and she didn't realize it because this is something she wears normally. And
she was not dressed up.
She was not dressed up, but people thought she was dressed up like Daisy Duck, so they kept like she was a foreigner and then also dressed as Daisy Duck. Let's take a picture. So they
also, if I remember, your wife is tall.
No, she's not.
Oh no.
No, she was that day you saw her because she was wearing like 6-inch heels.
Oh, I thought you meant a comparison to Japanese people.
Oh no,
she was a giant that day.
She was that day.
She soared with the giants that day.
Yeah, but no, the last time you saw her, she was wearing like 6-inch heels. She always does that when she goes out
because you're tall.
Yeah, she does.
And you hate short people.
They got no reason to live.
All right, but I'm short compared to
shrimp.
And you've said very disparaging things about me just because I'm not too tall.
Right. 6 foot and up.
So they must have looked at you like you were fucking like you were like Yao Ming.
Yep.
Ironically. All right. I think that's it for today. I've had enough of you.
I've had enough.
And I'm going to sit here and finish this drink. I'm going to tell all these fine people
that
the show is called A Bit Too Much. It's a bit too much on YouTube, but you might be watching already. It's weird that I'm promoting the show that they're watching, right?
Well, maybe they're watching or they're listening to the podcast and they're like, I wonder what these people look like.
I don't know how any of these things work. A bit too much on all the podcast platforms.
Stitcher.
A bit too much. God damn it. A bit too much on Patreon. Thank you for tuning in. This is Dom, my maybe co-host, and I'm Carmelo Bongiovi. Thanks for watching.